Why does your cat use its teeth on you? It's a feline dialect that few humans can interpret. That's the puzzle we are solving today. Believe it or not, your cat's bite isn't rooted in anger or retaliation. It's a coded message, a language they've been attempting to share with you this whole time. Once you learn the translation, your bond with your furry friend will be forever changed. Here's a preview. A cat's bite is rarely without reason. It's deliberate, it's instinctual, and sometimes it's a sign of affection. Before we proceed, allow me to address something vital. If you're currently watching this, it shows you genuinely care for your cat, for comprehending them on a deeper level, and for forging that unbreakable connection. So I'll propose this. If you treasure your cat's affection as much as they treasure you, then please act. Click the like button and subscribe immediately. Do it not for my sake or the channel's, but because each interaction signals to the YouTube algorithm to share this crucial information with countless other cat owners who might be misreading their pet's cues. Consider this. One simple click could contribute to another cat leading a more serene, joyful life. Surely that's a worthy cause. Now let's begin to unravel this enigma together. Cats are virtuosos of nonverbal communication. They speak not in words, but with the twitch of a tail, the angle of their ears, the widening of their pupils, the cadence of their purr, and indeed with their teeth. The bite is among the most misinterpreted actions in the feline lexicon, which is why so many cat owners feel bewildered, annoyed, or even wounded, both physically and emotionally, when it occurs. But let me ask you, has your cat ever been purring, kneading, and basking in your attention only to suddenly chomp, give you a swift nip? It feels jarring, perhaps even insulting. Yet the reality is, your cat isn't betraying you. They are communicating in the only manner they know. By their very nature, cats are predators. Even the most coddled house cat harbors the instincts of a wild hunter. Biting is ingrained in their identity. From the moment they are tiny kittens mock fighting with their siblings, they master the use of their teeth not to cause harm, but to practice. That instinct is permanent. What evolves is the situation, and that's where you play a role. When your cat bites you during a game, it isn't aggression. It's simulated hunting. Your hand becomes the moving prey, triggering their chase instinct, and their teeth are a natural part of that response. It's the same impulse that makes them stalk a feather wand or pounce on a string. The only difference is that you are attached to it. But here's the remarkable part. Most cats learn to inhibit their bite force. They don't clamp down as they would on actual prey. Instead, they deliver what experts call inhibited bites, gentle nibbles that indicate excitement, not a threat. Now, consider when your cat bites unexpectedly while you're petting them. This is one of the most frequently reported scenarios, and it has a clear scientific basis. Cats can experience what is known as petting-induced overstimulation. In layman's terms, what feels to you like a soothing, repetitive stroke can become overwhelming for them. Their skin is incredibly sensitive, packed with receptors that interpret touch differently than ours. What begins as pleasurable can quickly cross a line into irritation, and the bite is your cat's way of saying, "That's enough, thank you." Does this mean your cat is unloving? Not at all. In fact, it demonstrates a deep level of trust. Instead of fleeing, they choose to stay and communicate their needs directly to you. This is where your responsibility as a human comes in. If you pay attention to the signals before the bite, you'll see the warnings: a tail starting to twitch, ears beginning to flatten, pupils widening. These are all subtle signs that your cat is approaching their limit. Ignore these cues, and the bite is the next step. Respect them, and you prevent the bite entirely. This is how your relationship with your cat deepens. The more adept you become at reading these pre-bite signals, the more your cat feels understood, and your bond strengthens. Have you ever noticed your cat might reward you afterward by curling up nearby, purring or licking your hand as if to say, "Thank you for listening"? That's not a coincidence. It is communication, pure and simple. Here's something even more captivating. In homes with multiple cats, felines often use gentle bites as a social instrument. During mutual grooming, one cat might suddenly nip the other, not from hostility, but as a method to pause or redirect the activity. When your cat does this to you, they are mirroring the same innate behavior they'd use with their feline kin. In essence, your cat might be telling you, "You are family to me." Isn't that amazing? But let's not romanticize every single bite. The context is paramount. If the bite is accompanied by flattened ears, hissing, or swatting, that isn't affection. It's fear or irritation. If it occurs only when you touch a certain area, like their belly, it's a clear boundary being established. And boundaries, when respected, build trust. Think of your own relationships. You trust people who respect your no more than those who ignore it. The same principle applies to cats. I want to pause here and ask you something. Has your cat ever given you one of those love bites? The gentle, almost playful nibbles that don't break the skin? If so, share it in the comments. Tell me the story. What was happening in that moment? I promise you, I read every comment and reply to as many as I can. Your stories don't just bring me joy, they help other cat parents worldwide realize they are not alone in these experiences. So please, share your cat's biting story below. The truth is, cats aren't cryptic beings trying to baffle us. They are brilliant communicators. We humans are simply slow to learn their language. The bite, as surprising as it can feel, is just one word in their vocabulary. When you learn to interpret it correctly, it transforms from a point of confusion into a bridge for connection. But this is where it gets even more fascinating. While many bites are playful, affectionate, or signs of overstimulation, another type of bite holds a much deeper meaning, one unrelated to hunting, play, or excessive petting. It's a bite that can reveal something hidden, something your cat may be trying to warn you about long before you'd notice it otherwise. Have you ever been cuddling with your cat, sharing a peaceful moment when suddenly you feel their teeth on your skin? Perhaps it wasn't hard, but it was firm enough to surprise you. You likely wondered, why did you do that? The reality is your cat's bite always has a purpose, and often that purpose is emotional, not aggressive. Cats are emotional beings. They may not use words to express themselves, but they possess a full spectrum of feelings: contentment, anxiety, irritation, and excitement, all translated into body language. Their bite is one such translation. Understanding it requires seeing the world from your cat's viewpoint, and that is when your bond can grow deeper than ever. Let's begin with one of the most misunderstood behaviors: the gentle bite after licking. Perhaps your cat is grooming your hand, arm, or face, and then they nip you. What's happening? This is, in fact, a social ritual. Among cats, grooming is an act of intimacy reserved for family. In the midst of this grooming, one cat might lightly bite another, almost like a pinch. Behaviorists refer to it as social biting. When your cat does this to you, they aren't attacking. They are treating you like one of their own. Ponder that for a moment. Your cat has accepted you into their inner circle, and that bite is part of the pact of trust. Here's another scenario: the petting session that concludes with a sudden bite. This is so common that nearly every cat guardian has faced it. You're stroking your cat's back, perhaps scratching behind their ears, and everything seems perfect. Purring, kneading, half-closed eyes. Then, without warning, a bite. Why? The answer is overstimulation. Cats have nerve endings across their bodies, and while petting is initially pleasurable, it can reach a point where their skin says, "Too much." The bite isn't a rejection of you, it's a rejection of the continued sensation. It's vital to know that cats are not unpredictable. They provide signals before the bite: a twitching tail, ears tilting sideways, whiskers pulling back, pupils dilating. If you learn to spot these subtle cues, you'll anticipate the bite before it occurs. When you stop before your cat feels compelled to bite, you're communicating, "I understand." That small action builds immense trust. Respect fosters love. However, there's a nuance here. Sometimes the bite during petting isn't about overstimulation, but about communication. Some cats use a gentle bite not as a stop signal, but as a change signal. For instance, you're petting their back, but they'd really prefer a chin rub. The bite serves to interrupt and redirect your hand to the desired spot. If you pay attention, you'll often see your cat immediately lean into your hand, confirming that you received their message. I want to pause here and ask you something. Has your cat ever bitten you softly during petting and then immediately licked you? If so, tell me about it in the comments. Share your story. These comments are not just enjoyable to read. They are lessons for other cat lovers who are watching this and feeling the same confusion. When you share, you're not just telling your story. You're helping a community better understand cats. I promise to read your stories and respond. Now, let's delve deeper into the emotional aspect of biting. Fear, anxiety, and stress can all trigger bites, but these are distinct from playful or affectionate nips. Imagine introducing your cat to a new home or a visitor. Their body tenses, their tail lowers, their ears flatten. In this state, if you reach out to pet them, they might bite, not because they dislike you, but because their system is overloaded and saying, "I can't handle any more input right now." It's self-protection. Honoring that response not only keeps you safe, but also reassures your cat that you understand their needs. Then there are cats who bite while being held. You might adore cuddling your cat, but not every cat enjoys being restrained. Some tolerate it. Others genuinely dislike it. If your cat bites you while being held, it's often a message: "I need my space." By respecting that, you grant them autonomy. When they learn that you always offer them freedom, they often return on their own terms, seeking even more closeness than before. There's also the excitement bite, which happens during play. You're dangling a toy, your cat is chasing with wide eyes, and suddenly they pounce, teeth first. This is not aggression. It's pure adrenaline. Their natural hunting instinct is fully engaged, and you are part of the game. The key here is redirection. Provide toys that satisfy their urge to bite, so your hands don't become the target. Wand toys, kickers, and crinkle tunnels provide the outlet they need while protecting you. Here is the beautiful irony. The bite, which many people perceive as negative, can actually be a testament to trust. Think about it. Your cat is close enough to you and relaxed enough around you to feel safe expressing their limits or excitement through touch. In the wild, cats wouldn't display such vulnerability to just anyone. They reserve it for those they trust. This means if your cat is biting, it's because they feel secure with you, secure enough to communicate honestly. Let's return to the emotional landscape. Cats also experience frustration. Perhaps you ended a play session before they were finished, or they're watching birds outside they can't reach. This pent-up energy can sometimes be redirected toward the nearest object, you. A bite in this context is displaced frustration. Again, it's not malice or aggression, but an overflow of energy. The solution: more interactive play and more avenues for your cat to release that energy safely. Here's a small challenge for you. The next time your cat bites, don't just react. Pause. Ask yourself, what emotion is driving this? Affection? Overstimulation? Fear? Frustration? Note it down. Test your hypothesis by observing the context. Was the tail swishing? Were they purring? Were their ears back? Over time, you'll begin to see patterns. Once you recognize the patterns, you will start to understand your cat on a whole new level. And let me ask you this. Would you like a full video dedicated solely to the body language signals that precede a bite? If so, drop a "yes, please" in the comments. The more we understand those tiny cues, the fewer bites we'll receive, and the happier everyone, human and cat, will be. But there's still something we must address, something even more critical than emotions. While many bites are affectionate, playful, or signals of overstimulation, other bites convey a very different message. Sometimes the bite is not about feelings at all. Sometimes it is the body's only way of saying, "Something inside hurts." If you overlook that, you may miss the very first warning of a deeper problem. Have you ever noticed your cat biting you in a way that felt different, less playful, less affectionate, and somehow more serious? Maybe it happened when you touched a specific spot on their body. Perhaps it wasn't related to grooming, play, or overstimulation at all. This is where things become truly compelling. Because while many bites are part of everyday feline dialogue, some can be the body's only way of saying, "Pay attention, something is wrong. Now, don't be alarmed." The purpose of this chapter is to empower you. Cats are experts at concealing discomfort. In the wild, showing weakness could make them vulnerable, so our pampered indoor cats retain this instinct to mask pain. But here's the good news. If you learn to interpret their subtle signals, especially when biting becomes one of them, you can notice problems early, long before they escalate. Let's start with a common situation: dental pain. Cats can suffer from gum disease, tooth resorption, or a cracked tooth, and they won't express it with obvious cries. Instead, you might notice them becoming irritable when you touch their face, or they may suddenly bite when you try to pet near their mouth or jaw. This isn't about rejecting you. It's about protecting themselves. A defensive bite says, "That hurts. Please don't touch there." If you've ever had your cat react sharply around their mouth, consider it a clue. A veterinary checkup could uncover a dental issue that, once resolved, will make your cat much happier. Another scenario involves joint pain. Arthritis is more prevalent in cats than many realize. Even younger cats can develop joint problems, though it's more common in older felines. You might notice your cat bites when you pick them up a certain way or stroke along their spine or hips. It may seem random initially, but if it happens consistently in the same context, it's often a sign of discomfort. The bite here is not aggression. It's communication. Your cat is saying, "Something hurts when you touch me like that." Have you ever had a cat who once loved being cuddled but now suddenly bites whenever you hold them? Sometimes the cause is physical, not emotional. Cats with abdominal pain, kidney issues, or even skin irritation may bite simply because being touched is unpleasant, and since they can't point to where it hurts, the bite becomes their stop sign. Let's make this practical. If you observe biting behavior that is new, consistent, or triggered by touch in specific areas, it warrants attention. Keep a simple journal. Note when the biting occurs, what part of the body was touched, and the circumstances. Over time, patterns will emerge, and those patterns are precisely what veterinarians need for early diagnoses. Think of yourself as your cat's interpreter, gathering the evidence of what they're trying to communicate so the vet can act on it. I want to pause here and ask you, have you ever discovered a health issue in your cat solely because of a small behavioral change like biting or withdrawing from touch? If so, share your story in the comments. These stories could save another cat's life. Imagine another cat owner reading your comment, recognizing the same behavior in their pet, and realizing it's time for a vet visit. That is powerful, so don't underestimate the value of sharing. Beyond pain, stress is another significant factor behind biting. Cats are highly sensitive to their environment. A new piece of furniture, a different scent, a visitor, or even a change in your routine can unsettle them. Stress often accumulates quietly until it spills over in small ways, like a bite. If your cat suddenly starts biting more than usual, ask yourself, has anything changed in their world? New noises, less playtime, a different feeding schedule? Stress bites are often gentle but insistent, as if to say, I need space to feel safe again. Then there is redirected aggression. Imagine your cat watching another cat outside the window, tail twitching, eyes wide, body tense. You walk by and gently stroke them, only to receive a sharp bite. That bite isn't about you. It's about the frustration of being unable to act on what they see. In that moment, their emotions overflow, and you become the target. Understanding this context helps you avoid misinterpreting the behavior. Instead of thinking, my cat hates me, you realize, my cat is overwhelmed right now. The solution? Give them a moment to calm down or redirect their energy with a toy instead of your hand. But here's something even more profound. A sudden change in biting behavior, especially from a cat who never used to bite, can sometimes be one of the first signs of illness. Whether it's thyroid disease, digestive issues, or neurological problems, cats often reveal their struggles through behavior long before visible symptoms appear. A previously docile cat that starts biting regularly is waving a red flag. They are saying, something inside me is different. I want you to really consider this. How many times have we humans ignored small changes in the people around us until one day we realized they were signals of something deeper? Cats are no different. Their silence is filled with meaning. The bite in these cases is not an act of hostility. It's a plea for awareness. So how do we, as cat parents, respond? First, never punish the bite. Punishment only damages trust and silences the very communication you need to understand. Instead, step back and ask, what is the message here? Is it pain, stress, or frustration? By approaching the bite with curiosity instead of anger, you honor your cat's honesty. And that honesty can literally guide you towards saving their health. Let me be clear, not every bite signals a medical issue. But when biting is new, repeated, or clearly linked to physical contact in specific places, it's time to take it seriously. This doesn't mean panic. It means partnership. You and your veterinarian working together can decode what your cat is saying. And that's the beauty of it. The bite, often seen as negative, becomes a gift, a clue, a breadcrumb trail to the truth your cat cannot speak aloud. Once you see it this way, you'll never be frustrated by a bite again. Instead, you'll feel grateful that your cat chose to tell you something instead of hiding it completely. But this is where the mystery deepens even further. Because while some bites are warnings of discomfort, others carry an entirely different meaning, one that has nothing to do with pain or stress. In fact, some bites are the purest form of feline love, a secret gesture that transforms the way you'll ever look at your bond with your cat again. Imagine this. You're sitting quietly on the couch, your cat nestled beside you, purring in rhythm with your heartbeat. You stroke their fur and they lean in closer. Then suddenly you feel it, a gentle nibble on your hand or finger. For a split second, you might be startled. But here's the beautiful truth. Many of those small, careful bites are not warnings. They are declarations. They are your cat's way of saying, "You're mine and I love you." Yes, believe it or not, bites can be acts of affection. Among cats, this is perfectly natural. In kittenhood, siblings spend countless hours wrestling, biting, and grooming each other. Through those interactions, they learn bite inhibition, the skill of controlling how hard they use their teeth. By the time they're grown, many cats carry those lessons into their relationships with humans. When they bite you softly, it's not about harm. It's about including you in the same rituals they once shared with their littermates. Let's break it down. Ethologists, scientists who study animal behavior, explain that cats form bonds through mutual grooming. During these sessions, you'll often see one cat licking another, then giving a quick bite. It's not aggression. It's intimacy. That love bite is like punctuation in their language. And when your cat does the same to you, it's a sign of inclusion. It's as if they're saying, "You're part of my family, part of my trusted circle." Think about it. Cats are selective. They don't offer this behavior to everyone. If your cat gives you gentle bites while purring or while curled up against you, you've crossed into their inner world. It's a privilege, an invisible badge of trust. Now, here's an important detail. Context still matters. A love bite is usually accompanied by relaxed body language, ears forward or slightly to the side, soft eyes, steady purring, a loose posture. Contrast that with the warning bite, where the body stiffens, ears flatten, and the tail swishes. The difference is night and day. Learning to read that distinction means you'll never confuse affection with irritation again. Have you experienced one of these love bites before? The kind that makes you smile because it's so gentle and oddly endearing? If so, tell me in the comments. Share what your cat was doing at that moment. Was it during play, while you were petting them, or maybe out of the blue? Your stories are what make this community strong, and I promise I read every single one. Let's talk about play. Cats often use their teeth during playtime, but with those they trust, they hold back. It's called inhibited biting. A kitten learns this when play fighting with siblings. If one bites too hard, the other cries out and stops playing. Over time, they figure out the balance, bite softly, and the fun continues. When your cat gently bites you during play, they're applying the same lesson. It's a sign they want to engage, but they value you enough to stay in control. That's love wrapped in instinct. Now here's something fascinating. Some cats use bites not only to express affection, but to initiate attention. Maybe you're busy on your phone, ignoring them, and suddenly, a nibble. They're saying, "Hey, remember me?" Cats learn quickly what gets a reaction, and a gentle bite is often their way of starting the conversation. Another heartwarming detail is how cats sometimes combine bites with licks. It's often called lick-bite-lick behavior. This is almost always affectionate. The licking mimics grooming, and the nibble is the playful punctuation mark. It's as if your cat is writing you a love letter in their own secret code. But there's more. When cats bite softly, they're also demonstrating vulnerability. Remember, their teeth are powerful tools. They're hunters by nature. By choosing not to use that power against you, by holding back their full strength, they're showing restraint. And restraint is built on trust. In other words, your cat knows you're safe. They're saying, "I could hurt you, but I never will." That's one of the deepest bonds you can share with another living being. I want you to think of it like this. Have you ever had a friend who teased you in a playful way, not to hurt, but to show closeness? That's exactly what your cat is doing with love bites. It's their version of a playful nudge, a secret handshake, a wink across the room. Of course, not every cat shows affection in the same way. Some cats prefer headbutts, others prefer purring on your chest, and some prefer following you from room to room. But for many, the love bite is their unique signature. If your cat chooses that form of affection, consider yourself lucky. You've unlocked one of their rarest and most misunderstood gestures. Here's a little challenge for you. The next time your cat gives you a gentle bite, instead of pulling away or feeling confused, pause. Look at their body language. Notice the softness in their eyes, the warmth in their purr. See it for what it truly is, a secret message of love. When you respond calmly with a gentle stroke, a soft word, or even by staying still, you reinforce the trust. And trust is the foundation of everything in the human-cat bond. Let me ask, would you like me to create a future video that explores all the hidden ways cats show affection beyond just biting? If you'd like that, comment yes below. Because once you realize how many secret signs of love your cat gives you daily, you'll never again wonder where you stand in their heart. And here's the most magical part. Once you stop seeing bites as random or hostile, you start seeing them as bridges. Every nibble, every gentle touch of teeth becomes another piece of evidence that your cat loves you, trusts you, and chooses you every single day. That realization transforms the way you see your cat. Suddenly, what once felt confusing now feels like an honor. So the next time those tiny teeth graze your skin, smile. You're not being bitten in anger. You're being invited into the most intimate part of your cat's world. And once you're there, you'll never look at your bond the same way again. Before we close, I want to leave you with this. Cats are not just pets. They are partners in communication, teachers of patience, and guardians of unconditional love. Their bites, their licks, their purrs, all of it is language. And when you learn to listen, the conversation never ends. If this video helped you understand your cat a little better, consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like. Not for me, but for the thousands of cat lovers who might discover it next and finally understand what their cats have been trying to say all along. Together, we can build a world where every cat is heard, respected, and loved.